It's time for the Go Christian podcast, where we equip women church leaders with practical tools to enhance their ministry and personal lives. Join us as we explore productivity, money management, and spiritual growth strategies. Get ready to ignite your passion and impact your community. Welcome to the Go Christian podcast with Reverend Dr. Zatura Woodley. Are you a woman church leader who's feeling overwhelmed or burned out? Well, it's time to protect your peace. In this episode, we dive deeply into the importance of setting healthy boundaries. Discover practical strategies to balance your ministry, family, work, and personal life. Learn how to say no, delegate effectively, and prioritize your self-care. Don't miss this essential episode for any woman in church leadership seeking harmony and fulfillment. Hey, welcome back to the Go Christian podcast. I'm Minister Woodley, and today we're discussing a topic that's essential for any person looking to be effective in church leadership. Let's talk about healthy boundaries. For church leaders, we've committed ourselves to God 24/7, 365. And for years, many of us believed that also meant being available to our congregation, parishioner, staff 24/7, 365. However, we quickly found out that being available to all people at all times can lead to feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, and even in some cases burned out. The truth is that by establishing clear boundaries, we can experience a sense of relief and maintain healthy balance. So today we'll explore practical strategies for setting and maintaining those boundaries and why they're essential to your overall well-being and effectiveness as a church leader. For today's message, I'm going to come from Exodus chapter 18, verses 13 through 26. And I'm reading from the New International Version, the NIV. So I'll start with verse 13. The next day, Moses took his seat to serve as judge for the people, and they stood around him from morning to evening. When his father-in-law saw all that Moses was doing for the people, he said, "What is this you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit as judge, while all these people stand around you from the morning till evening?" Verse 15, Moses answered him, "Because the people come to me to seek God's will. Whenever they have a dispute, it is brought to me, and I decide between the parties and inform them of God's decrees and instruction." Moses' father-in-law replied, "What you are doing is not good." So I want to stop here and just clarify what Jethro is talking about is not that Moses is making decisions and sharing God's decrees and instruction with the people. Instead, he's questioning the practice Moses has in place by being the sole person making all the decisions. Verse 18, "You and these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. Listen now to me, and I will give you some advice, and may God be with you. You must be the people's representative before God and bring their disputes to Him. Teach them His decrees and instruction, and show them the way they are to live and how they are to behave. But select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. Have them serve as judges for the people at all times, but have them bring every difficult case to you. The simple cases they can decide themselves. That will make your load lighter because they will share it with you. If you do this, and God so commands, you will be able to stand the strain, and all these people will go home satisfied." Moses listened to his father-in-law and did everything he said. He chose capable men from all Israel and made them leaders of the people, officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. Verse 26, they served as judges for the people at all times. The difficult cases they brought to Moses, but the simple ones they decided themselves. So Jethro could see where Moses' practices were leading him. Moses was taking on all of the people's issues alone, whether they were big or small. Jethro was clear that if Moses continued down that road, he would be burned out and ineffective as a leader. The answer was setting boundaries and getting other godly leaders to assist him in meeting the needs of the people while also enforcing the boundaries he set. Now, in a future episode, I'll talk more in detail about the importance of developing leaders around you to assist you in meeting the needs of the congregation, as well as helping to enforce your boundaries. That's also part of having healthy boundaries. But in today's episode, I'm going to talk about how important it is for you as a Christian leader, as a woman in leadership, to set healthy boundaries for yourself. Let's begin the conversation by understanding why boundaries are so important for effective leadership in the church. First of all, boundaries help prevent burnout and overwhelm. Overworking can lead to burnout, and burnout negatively impacts your ministry, but it also can negatively impact your family, your work, your personal life. So it's really important to establish boundaries to help ward off burnout and overwhelm. Secondly, setting boundaries can help you prioritize self-care. You must ensure that you are healthy and well. Personal health and wellness are essential to meeting all of the goals God has for you. Boundaries allow us to prioritize our health and well-being. Boundaries help us to establish really healthy relationships in our family and in our community. So strong boundaries allow you to prioritize your family and all of those other relationships that help build who you are as a leader. Boundaries help with spiritual renewal. Time for personal reflection and spiritual growth are essential for effective leadership. And finally, boundaries help develop you as an effective leader. A rested and refreshed leader is better equipped to serve their congregation. So, what are some of the practical steps that you can take in order to establish healthy boundaries? Well, number one is clearly define your leadership role. If you're assuming a role as a pastor, assistant pastor, associate pastor, or some other clergy role in a congregation, there should be a clearly written job description for the job that you're taking on. So there should be duties and responsibilities articulated in that job description, and there should also be some expectations set about what you'll be producing in the role. If you're at a smaller ministry and there have been no clearly written job descriptions for the position you're volunteering for or you're getting paid for, now's a really great time for you to write out and establish those expectations. It's important to understand what's expected of us, what our duties and responsibilities are, in order for us to design what those boundaries will look like. So the first thing you'll need is a written document that clearly shows you and tells you what your duties and responsibilities are in that ministerial role. Now that you have a clear delineation of your job description, it's time now to start beginning to define what those boundaries are for you. One of the easiest ways to begin is to clearly define what your work time is versus your personal time. This could mean setting specific office hours, designating certain days for family time, and establishing personal time for hobbies and self-care. Yes, even a pastor can have a hobby. Even a pastor or a minister can have personal times and hobbies. And so it's really important for you to begin by defining what those times you are available for work and what times you're not. Number 3, communicate your boundaries. Now, be open and honest with your congregation and with your staff about your boundaries and your availability. One of the easiest ways to communicate times for availability is in your newsletter or in your bulletin. Also, you can post that on your website. Just say when your office hours are, when you're available for meetings, communicate to your congregation if they need to book a meeting with the staff or if your office hours are drop-in, for example. So the more open and honest you are in communicating those boundaries and that time you're available, the better relationship you can build with your congregation. Number 4, learn how to say no. It's okay, and it's even empowering to decline requests that don't align with your priorities. Now, I know we've been socialized in the society, especially as women, that we need to prioritize the needs of the many before we prioritize our own. But if what you're being asked to do doesn't align with the priorities that God has set for you, it's absolutely okay to say no. It's okay to say no if you really don't have time to do it. It's okay to say no if you've prioritized something else. It's okay to say no in the church. It's okay to say no to your family when it's appropriate. All right. So try and find a book from one of your favorite authors that talks about the power of no, that talks about your having the ability to say no. Audible also has some really great audiobooks on this subject. So do a search at your library, do a search online, and find some resources to help you be able to learn how to say no. Number 5, time management. Time management is one of those things that really can help you keep and maintain your boundaries. Effective time management can help you create balance. I've taken seminars and workshops in time management. I use a lot of technology tools to help me manage my time, like Audible reminders. I do Google Calendar, Microsoft Outlook, and Clockify Me really helps me track how much time I'm spending on task. And because I have such a diverse amount of things that I'm doing with my own personal business, with the ministry, with friends and family, it's really important for me to see how much time I'm spending in each area. So time management really can help with you effectively maintaining the boundaries as you establish them. Number 6 is prioritize self-care. If COVID taught us anything, it should have taught us that our health and well-being really is priority and important, especially if we're going to have to take care of other people. So prioritize activities that promote your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Self-care is vital and important in ensuring you can maintain the boundaries that you establish. And finally, delegation. Don't be afraid to delegate tasks to others. Now, like I said before, in a future podcast episode, I'll talk about building up leaders within your ministry that you can delegate responsibilities to help develop them as leaders, but also to help you with maintaining your boundaries as well as building the body of Christ. Okay, I'll end today's podcast by saying the following. Setting healthy boundaries is not selfish. It's essential for your long-term well-being and effectiveness as a church leader. Now, remember, you cannot pour into anyone else if your vessel is empty. By establishing clear boundaries, you're investing in yourself, your congregation, and your ministry. I want to encourage you to review those strategies I've given you on this podcast. Take some time this week to review them. Now, I want you to choose which strategy you can start to implement this week that will assist you with your ministry. Remember, becoming a healthy, productive, and mindful leader is not a destination. It's part of a journey. Hey, thanks for tuning into the Go Christian podcast. Remember, small steps can lead to significant change. Let's continue to grow together in faith, leadership, and personal enrichment. If you haven't already done so, feel free to subscribe and click the like button. That'll tell the algorithm to send this out to other women leaders that may benefit from this message. Until next time, keep going, sis. God bless you, and thanks so much for watching. Have a terrific day.